Rough start for Giants O-line, but not necessarily Ereck Flowers' vertical line offensive observations. It's just the preseason opener. It's not anywhere near time to panic. But the Giants' offensive line didn't look very good. Again, the starters are done for the night. The Steelers lead the first exhibition game for both clubs 10-9 here at MetLife Stadium at halftime, but what they did will certainly be dissected in the days to come. For now, here are some instant offensive observations at halftime. Starting lineup: quarterback Eli Manning and wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. got the night off, and wide receiver Sterling Shepard's ankle was also out. So the initial 11-man offensive lineup of the 2017 season looked like: QB, Josh Johnson RB, Paul Perkins FB, Shane Smith OL, Lieutenant Ereck Flowers, LG Justin Pugh, C. Weston Reachberg, RG John Jerry, Root Bobby Hart TE, Red Ellison WR, Brandon Marshall, Robert Lewis Julio Cortez. Vertical line AP photo. Rough night for the O-line before we start. The first sack the Giants allowed wasn't left tackle Ereck Flowers' fault. His man, linebacker TJ Watt, had the sack, but the pressure came from the middle of the line. Josh Johnson just happened to be forced to his left and Watt more or less walked into it. Okay, the offensive line. Not good. 3 sacks and 3 runs for no or negative yards are not ideal, especially for a unit that is the clear weak spot on a team that believes it can contend for the Super Bowl. However, the Giants will come back and say they do minimal to no game planning on the line, so these things happen, especially when Josh Johnson holds on to the ball too long. Also, one of the sacks also by what looked like the result of a botched screen pass, with the receiver screwing up that call. So there is that. At this point, it's too early to make any major judgments about Flowers or the line as a whole, other than to say the group didn't turn in the most affirming performance it could have in a preseason opener. The Giants have talked about the line being better. It's time they finally show it. They didn't Friday night. Johnson vs. Smith. There's been a bit of a misconception when it comes to the discussion about Josh Johnson. He knows Smith and the battle to be Manning's backup. Johnson has been deemed a slight favorite here, and elsewhere, due to his obvious built-in edge. The guy was here last year, knows the system, clearly did enough that the Giants wanted to bring him back, and was also fully healthy in the off-season program while Smith was working his way back from last year's knee injury with the Jets. Smith is 100% now. Johnson didn't have much protection in the first half, but he didn't help himself either by holding on to the ball too long. Johnson finished 5 for 10 passing for 31 yards. Smith then came in, promptly completed a 15-yard pass, longer than any of Johnson's completions, and is 4 for 6 for 44 yards at the break. It's entirely possible Smith will surpass Johnson now that both are on even footing. That may have already started. Evan Engram. It was a quiet night for the first-round pick. He got a handful of snaps with the first-team group, but no catches or targets. Engram got his first catch late in the second quarter from Smith. Tight end Red Ellison had 3 catches for 20 yards on 3 targets. The Giants believe Engram has the ability to be a game-breaking matchup nightmare, but there remain questions about just how big his role will be this year. Don't be surprised if Engram comes along a bit slower than the hype has indicated. Engram will definitely have a role in the offense this season, but it may not be a major one. Running game blocking wasn't great, and the overall numbers weren't much better. The Giants did have some signs of life though in the running game. Starter Paul Perkins busted a 7-yard run on the Giants' first play from scrimmage. He lost 4 on the next one, and Orleans Darkwa had a good 4-yard run behind the second-team line. Perkins also picked up the 4th and 1 inside the Steelers' 10, albeit barely. Considering the Giants struggled to run the ball last year, any progress is good. Fullback. It remains to be seen if the Giants will carry a fullback on the roster this year. But it's clear they are considering the possibility, and Shane Smith seems to be in the lead if so. The undrafted rookie out of San Jose State appeared to put a good first step forward, lead blocking on Perkins' 7-yard run and hauling in a 9-yard catch in the flat. Formations. The Giants infamously ran 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers, a tight end and a running back over 90% of the time last season. Offensive diversification has been a major talking point entering this year, and for one night, Mikado delivered it. The Giants ran out several formations, including 2 tight end looks and a fullback in the backfield. They also had Engram in the backfield at one time. Odds and ends *, undrafted rookie left tackle Chad Wheeler had some rough snaps. He's had promising moments in training camp so far and has a lot of upside. Friday's showing should serve as a reminder he is a project player and likely needs a year of seasoning on the practice squad. The Giants should be able to get him through waivers at the end of the summer. Ellison's activity in the passing game is another sign the Giants feel he can offer more as a pass catcher than he showed with the Vikings. Ellison's lack of receiving production was more a function of the offense in Minnesota, not necessarily his skill set. Barius Pa continued his push for a roster spot. Pa had a catch in the second quarter, and was wide open on another snap when Johnson was unable to get the ball out in a timely fashion. Roger Lewis would have had a touchdown grab, but he stepped out of bounds on the back line. Aldrick Rosas took a big step in the kicking competition by going 2-for-2 with a 52-yard dirt. Mike Nugent made his only kick, from 30 yards out,